Welcome back to the shop. I've got this Jacobs chuck. I think it's a 5/8. It's relatively large, as you can tell by the... You might be able to tell in relation to this utility knife. It seems to function quite well after I've worked it back and forth. I've hit it with some silicone spray and been going back and forth, and I think we can make some serious improvements to this. It's been a while since I've seen the video, but Tom Lipton over at Ox Tools, who is really just a bright guy, had disassembled a chuck, an Ulbrich chuck. This is just the Jacobs. I've got some nice chucks. I've got a nice Ulbrich that I just came across the other day, but this is definitely worth saving, even though it's got some, I don't know if that's rust or could even be weld spatter right here, but I want to try to clean this up a little bit, and you know, I've come across quite a few chucks in the recent couple of weeks. So we'll take a shot at cleaning this one up. And I think I was just on the web on Instructables, and it sounds like typically there will be this adapter can sometimes have a bolt in there that is in reverse thread. In this case, I did not have. This looks like a Morris Taper number 3 for a lathe or something like that. I will need this for my lathe eventually. It did not have the bolt in there, and this came right out. I don't know if that's was just fortunate or whether this needs to be reamed out later on. Regardless, I'm going to try to drive this thing out. I understand if what I've seen on the web is correct, what I need to do is support the, if you can see that this piece is static and the outside turns. What I need to do now is drive these the jaws. I've got it about halfway, give or take, and I'm just going to, hit those, and then this should pop out. Feels unnatural, but it's working. Shit. Trashed. So that is indeed how you disassemble it, but it's also how you smoke one of these things. Man, that is just so disappointing. There's no coming back from that. Alright, since I just killed that one, let's see how fast I can break parts. I'm going to try something different, similar yet different, and try to press it out here with this ball joint tool, because the ball joint tool seems to fit pretty nicely on the back of here. So if I can press on here, I think we'll be pretty good. It's been 24 hours or so since I've had this stuff in the parts washing solvent. It does a good job for loosening stuff up. You can see that I can just wipe that off with my fingernail now. But I'm going to bring this over to the wire wheel and clean up these pieces. Here's the outside of the chuck. I went ahead and took this to the fiber wheel yesterday, this section of it. I will finish the rest of that up and bring it back once I have all these pieces polished up and assembled. And I'll throw all the little bearings of the solvent and get the schmoo off of them so they're nice and clean, and then we'll reassemble. So I've got the chuck all cleaned up, and depending on how this video gets edited, what I think I had done incorrectly, what I'm pretty sure I'd done incorrectly, is I ran into a similar problem with 3-jaw scroll chuck. that I should have indexed these, put some sort of notation on the chuck, and then a notation on each of these dogs, so they went back in order. Now I've got to play musical, jaw chucks and try to figure out how they go together and align with this. So it's going to be trial and error. So I'm going to goof around with that, and then I'll bring you back as we get ready to assemble this. Well, I got lucky. That really was unexpected. Now that I know that they're indexed correctly, I've got this ring, and there's a top race and a bottom race, and then the balls will feed in. So hopefully you can get the shot on that. We'll reassemble this. I know, it should have less stuff in the middle, but I don't think it's going to be that much pressure. Alright, so that is done. It's so smooth and so nice now. It really makes all the difference. The grease that I suppose they used long ago had hardened up to the point where it was that really crusty grease that we all know. And cleaning that out, I didn't do anything other than clean it up, so it just works very smoothly now. I am going to let you down in the sense that I can't put this in my drill press. The only thing that I have that fits this at the moment is a number 3 Morse taper, and I do not have. I've got another chuck that has the right adapter in it, but I do not have the Jacobs little C-clip that they pound in here to remove this. So I don't want to force it with the wrong tool right now. So I don't particularly need this chuck right at this moment. When I got my drill press, I bought this Grizzly chuck, and this works quite nice, but it only goes up to 3/8 of an inch. A great chuck, sort of expensive. I think it was $70 or $80. And then along with some of the stuff I found at my grandfather's shop was this Ulbrich chuck, and this is just a dream. It really, when you feel the fluid motion of this, it is so nice. And these are the Morse Taper 2 that I need. You can see the things. Well, this might even be a 4. I think Morse taper is 5/8 of an inch of taper per foot or something like that. But regardless, my machine's a 2, and I don't have anything for this large chuck now, but I will go ahead and buy the adapter for this, and then put her back to work, as they say. And that's a 3/4 inch Jacobs to Morse taper number 2 is what I need. And the Jacobs key that will remove these, I will see if I can find an image to insert into this now. just so you have an idea. That is something that I've yet to do, is to you know, own the Jacobs key, or actually remove one of these that has the Jacobs style shank, which is also just a threaded shank. Again, can't do an episode on that because I don't know about it yet. But that's it. I just wanted to show you my trials and tribulations of this thing. I do feel bad that I hooped this one. As they say, it's just, I knew better. I knew better when I was banging on it, and I kept going thinking, oh, maybe this is just easy. I was just dumb on my part. This chuck, I don't know. I don't know if anybody's just happens to be in the situation where they need a part to this. I doubt it. You know, if somebody's missing 2 teeth and they just happen to, I don't know. If you need the parts, send me something in the comments and I'll send you whatever parts I've got left over to that if you want it. This is my model 1100 Walker Turner drill press. I have a KB Electronics, it's a VFD that will convert single phase 120 volts to 3-phase 240 volts. It's very, very cool. I've mentioned this quite a few times in my videos, but it allows me to have a drill press that has variable speeds. And then, if I was tapping, I could simply stop it and reverse it. And that is really hard to do with non-3-phase motors. It's much, much easier to do with the 3-phase. This was $300. The motor was another $100. So it was not an inexpensive modification. However, I think it is probably one of the best modifications that I've made to an old machine. So, Mr. Pete also does a great series on this drill press and the VFD stuff. I would recommend checking his videos out. But right, for our purposes, what we're talking about is the Morris taper. The Morris taper is number 2 is the type of shank adapter that this machine has. And what's novel about it is you have less connections between your drill and the machine. And in theory, if there's very little run out here with a very direct connection here, you've got even less run out. So for the Morris tapers, you just line up the keys and shove it in there, and then you've got your connection. That's all it is. There's no chuck to tighten down, there's no dogging, nothing like that. It just stays right there. And the theory, again, is that if you were to have a drill press or a chuck like this, you're introducing not only the variation that's between this Morris taper and here, but also the variation between your drill bit and this section. But as you can tell, there's quite a few times in the shop where you have a small drill bit and you do not need to have a 5/8 inch drill bit that's this size. And these drill bits can be quite expensive. So more often than not, I'm just running a small 3/8 keyless chuck in there. I just wanted to clean up that chuck and sort of take you along for the ride. And I try to be real about this stuff. I do not edit these things unnecessarily. If there's anything sort of any pitfall that I can help you avoid, I will include it, such as, you know, me banging on this thing like an orangutan. So I'm going to end the video with that. I want to like to thank everybody for watching, subscribing, and leaving any sort of constructive criticisms you got. Thanks, have a good night.